It is time.
Hello.
It is time for the magic to happen. It is Mickey in the middle. Oh my goodness. Hey, do me a favor as soon as you get here. Let me know that you're here. Today we're going to talk about the record-setting impeachments. That's right, I said impeachments. Kind of happened, didn't take long. Holy smokes. Comparatively, oh my gosh. They made this one so easy. So unbelievable. Hello, Logan Calcaterra. Congratulations. You win the race to be the first one to the show today, Logan. Just like to say thanks a lot. I hope your mom and dad show up. I hope all your brothers and sisters, your aunts, your uncles, your nieces, your nephews. I hope everybody in your neighborhood, in your county, and in your state show up to watch the big show. It might just be me and you tonight. It is 9 o'clock, right? Yeah, it's 9:03. So not a lot of people are in the room yet, but we're gonna get started because we got some stuff we have to talk about. I got my notes. Oh my gosh, I sat around and I took copious notes today. Oh my goodness. It is an absolute mess out there. Oh, hey, hi to your mama. As we say down south, hey to your mama. All right, we all ready for this? Do me a favor, as soon as you get here, check in. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that I'm not alone in this world. Don't make sure that Logan and I do not feel like we're all alone. All right, so let's do this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much, Matt Ollie. Man, that guy can play some guitar. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the big show. My name is Mickey, and this is Mickey in the Middle. This is the quintessential show for Middle Americans. Everything that is important to Middle Americans is what we discuss here. We have 2 years worth of material that you can go back and you can look at that I have been doing on Facebook Live. Some of it good, some of it not good. However, I think my content's gotten a little bit better over time because I've kind of gotten narrowed in and focused on doing what is right and doing what is best and talking about what is best for Middle America. Because Middle America makes up the majority of America. And the way that I want to think of it as, I don't want you to be on the right side. I don't want you to be right. I don't want you to be left. I don't want you to be on anybody's side. I want you to be on your side. I want you to be on the middle side. And it might sound funny, but I don't want you on the right side. I don't want you on the left side. I want you on the middle side. Because I believe that the middle side is where everybody needs to be. That's how you get more intelligent. You listen to the left, and then you go, how about that? And then you go, maybe there's more. What does the right have to say about that? And then you hear them and you go, I wonder where the middle is of that. Because you can't have it one way or the other. They give us a binary choice in the United States of America. You either do it the way that the Republicans want you to do it, or you do it the way that the Democrats, and then there's no middle ground. Therefore, they have broken up and they've made you make decisions that are binary. And the world's not a binary place. The world is not black and white. It's not up or down. It's not left or right. It's somewhere in the middle of that. And that's where I try to be. I try to listen intently to both sides so I can make up my mind, so I can add new information, so I can get new facts, so I can consider other people's points of view. So we all think that we're like that. We are all people that are very, very thoughtful in our own way. But we're finding out more and more about social media and how they drive you to one side or the other. Not intentionally. They're not trying to divide you intentionally. What they're trying to do is they're trying to give you more of the things that you like to see. So if you watch a Mickey in the Middle video tonight, then they might suggest another Mickey in the Middle video more often to you in the future. So that if you watch something on cars, go try this. Do something that you do not normally do. Just go type in trout fishing, or if you're not interested in worm farming. And then look at 2 videos or 3, two topics on worm farming or trout fishing, and watch how much they flood you with that stuff. And then the advertisers have gone, we've got a new mark, and we're going to go after them all day. And then if you click on worm farming every single day or trout fishing every single day for a week, it will stay in your feed for a solid month. And they will take all of the videos you watch and slant them towards worm farming or trout fishing. Try it. So what happens is they bottleneck you into thinking and reinforcing your own concepts and ideas. And when you go looking for another point of view on worm farming, you might find somebody that says, hey, well, we worm farm above the ground, or we worm farm in the ground, or we are the peat worm farmers, or we are the native earth, worm farmers. And there's a lot of information on that. But there's always opinions, and you're going to get them, but it's all going to be about worm farming. Therefore, if you watch Democratic talking points, they're going to give you more Democratic talking points. So even if you go looking in your news feed, you're going to be totally missing 50% of the picture. And the contrary is the exact opposite. The opposite happens on the other side. So that if you go to Republican content and you do the conservative talking points, you will only find information that is on that side. So I have, when I watch TV, I watched a lot of TV today. I have to admit. You want to know why? Because they all showed the exact same, the second impeachment of Donald Trump. And but normally I watch Fox News. That's my first and go-to. And I watch the news part because I believe that CNN is liars, and I don't really like the people that they have on there as their host. But they blatantly just flat out lie to you. And sometimes Fox News does that, but I've found that Fox News does that less. And but what I also do is I also tune into NBC, MSNBC, ABC, and NBC. And every once in a while, if I can find PBS, I do that. On my truck radio, and if you don't know this about Sirius XM radio, if you go to 125, that is Patriot Radio. All of my satellite radio stuff is set up on a channel, and then I roll to the right. That way I know I get similar content. So the first one that I have set is I have Patriot Radio 125 set, and if I roll to the right, it goes to Urban Radio. And then if I go one more time right, it's to Progressive Radio. A couple over from that, I don't know the numbers, right? So it goes 125 is Patriot, 126 is Urban, 127 is Progressive, 120, or those are reversed, right? Progressive, whatever. I start at 125, and then I know that I have all those public commentary numbers right up there. I also have ESPN in there. So if I hit ESPN and roll it to the right, then I've got a bunch of sports channels that are lined up in there. If I go to kids, then all of a sudden I know I get all the Disney channels and I've got all the kid content. If I go to producer, if I go to Ozzy Osbourne, or what's the other one, whatever. There's an Ozzy Osbourne channel on there. Then I get hard rock. If I go to the 70s, the next one is 70s. Then I got the 80s. Then I got the 90s. Then I got the pop rock, and I got 2000s. That's the way that I do my stuff. But everything is really, really closely related to each other. So the only reason I have 125 set first is because I know every way that I set up my channels, if I rotate to the right, I get more of the same content from different providers. 125 is Patriot, 126 is Urban, 127 is Progressive. But I listen to all of those. So my favorite people that are on the left is Michelangelo Sigonelli. Listen to him. If you want to know what the other side is thinking, then you have to listen to the other side. You can't listen to what your side says about the other side. You can only listen to the other side. to truly appreciate what they are doing, what they are saying, how they are thinking, what are their motivations, how do they treat each other, how do they talk to each other, what are their ultimate motives. And that is whether you are on the right side or whether you are on the left side. If you do not actually get it from the horse's mouth, and this is what I've been saying on Mickey in the Middle, I don't listen to what people say. I only go to original source material. The people on the right, the people on the left, they give me ideas on what to think and how to think, and then I go, does that sound right? So when I looked at the news today, they were all showing the same thing. The only thing that was different was the interpretations on the bottom of the screen, and I don't pay attention to them anyway. But today I would like to talk about the record-setting Donald Trump. Donald Trump is record-setting. Did you know that? Did you know that Donald Trump is 2 for 2, batting 1,000% in impeachments? He's got impeached every time that they've impeached him. Hit it out of the park. Boom. Now, not tried and convicted. Tried and convicted, they're 0 for 1. And there's a great big difference because the way that the Democrats have set this up is we're trying to impeach him, so we're batting 1,000%, and then Donald Trump is counting it as how many times have I been convicted, and the answer to that is 0 to 1. Now, we're going to find out in the next week, next 10 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, to whatever, what Donald Trump's record is in impeachment trials. But you notice who was sitting right behind the Republican side? Right behind the Republican side all day long in the congressional chambers was Donald Trump's lawyer, listening to everything that everybody had to say. He didn't need to write it down. He was just listening, and somebody else was writing it down, and he's going to go back and he's going to watch the tape. So when they go to the Senate trial, that's what it's going to be. They didn't do a committee. They didn't have any hearings. They didn't do anything. They just went straight from, hey, everybody knows what happened, straight to, we're going to do House debate. We're going to close the debate, and then we're going to vote on impeachment. So that's kind of like what happened. But when you think about this, there's only been 4 impeachments in the history of the United States presidency, and Donald Trump is 2 of the 4. So he is 50%, baby. No other president in the United States up to this point has been impeached 2 times. So once again, Nancy Pelosi helped Donald Trump set a record. That dude is going to be remembered way longer than anybody else in the modern era, including Ronald Reagan, including Obama, including Bush. If that dude just wanted to be famous, he just did it. As they say where I'm from, nailed it. So do not despair. So this is my message for Middle America today. So I watched the impeachment debate on the House floor today, and they bounced back and forth, and I got a bunch of notes. A bunch of notes. And I'm going to get to those here in just a second. But what I wanted to say is, I watched that, and then I watched them take the vote, and then they were like they took the vote, and they said all of the yeas, and they went, yay! All the nays, they went, no. And then Jim Jordan said, we'd like to have a recall vote, and they did that electronically, of which Donald Trump was impeached in the House of Representatives today. And then I had to take a breath. I had to say, how did we get to this point? I don't care how we got to this point. I looked at my father and I said, Father, I'm going to go to the store. Would you like me to get anything for you? And he said, yes, son. I would like you to get me some chocolate-covered pretzels. So I went to the store. And you know what happened on the way to the store? The carnage was amazing. There were car crashes all over the place. Pipelines had exploded. People were shooting each other. Airplanes were crashing. Women were having babies in the back of cabs. The wheels fell off of half of the 18-wheelers that were out there. There was just carnage everywhere. There were earthquakes and tornadoes and lightning and thunder and hurricanes. Or there wasn't. Or there wasn't. I pulled out of the neighborhood. I turned to the right. I got down to the stop. I turned to the right again. Somebody let me in the traffic. Somebody let me into the circle. Somebody gave me the spot that I was actually looking for. I went into the store. Everybody was wearing a mask. Everybody was like, oh, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Oh, I held the door for somebody on the way. When they were coming out, she had a Saints mask on. I said, hey, that's a great mask. The dude behind her didn't have a great mask, so I didn't say anything to him, but I did say hello. Hey, sir, how you doing? I held the door. 3 people came out. They were like all nice. I went in. I said, hey, ma'am, do you have any chocolate-covered pretzels? She goes, no, we don't have any pretzels at all. We're all sold out. So I got this great little lamp that I have up here. There was no carnage. There was no carnage. Nobody cares. Life is going to go on in the United States of America. We got to stop getting all wrapped up with this stuff. I got up this morning. I saw a couple of posts on my social media internet sites, and I was mad at some of the things that my friends had said. I will not even tell you what made me the maddest. And it wasn't even offensive. It was just like one side trying to poke the other side in the eye. And all I could think was, you will not ever say that in front of me. I know that you won't say that in front of me because you don't have the guts to say it in front of me. And you don't want to hear me. I guarantee that you don't want to hear me. You think that I am alt-right, white, national. She might even think I'm a racist, which I know I'm not. She's homophobic, xenophobic, anti-Semite. I don't know what she thinks of me because she won't talk to me. But she just wanted to stick somebody in the eye. And here's what the deal is. If she ever does that out in public, somebody might punch her. But she's brave behind the keyboard. But I want to talk about what's happening out there in front. Because what's happening out there in front is actually the most important thing that's happening in America. When we can go to the grocery store together, when we can go to the hardware store together, when we can get along in traffic as best we can, right? When we can go on vacation, we can take our kids to school, when we can go get a cup of coffee, we can go to a state park. There's no carnage. So why are we acting like the world is coming to an end when all you have to do is walk out your front door, put down your phones, walk out the front door, and prove to yourself that the world's not coming to an end? Don't get wrapped up so tight that you can't let a little bit of pressure off. Now, you can have concerns, and I'm not saying don't have concerns. I'm not saying do not contact your representatives. Do not be an active part in your local politics. Be part of the state politics. But there was an impeachment that happened today. And do you want, I'm going to run through it here in just a second. But let's go through this one time and see what everybody said. So, Logan, hey, Steve, bro, dude, Mark Calcaterra. Hello, Darla Stewart. How are you doing? Susie, Dawn, nice shirt. Thank you very much. All right, so I've done 2 things. Thank you very much for talking about my appearance. The first thing I did is I got rid of Mike. It made me look scruffy, and I was wearing a hat last night, and I watched the show back, and I was like, you are never going to wear a hat again on the air, and you're always going to wear a collar. You want to know why? Because you owe that to people. It is decorum that you should at least be presentable. You should put out a professional product and you should build yourself some credibility. So that is what I'm going to work with. I spent 30 years in the United States Air Force. I built credibility up to about the 6-year point and I blew it. And then I built credibility up to the 15-year point and I blew it. And then I spent the last 15 years making up for the 6-year mistake and at the 15-year mistake. And then I built up credibility for the last 15 years of my career. I want to do the exact same thing on this show. So I got rid of the scruffy. I'm going to let my hair grow to be fabulous. Look at this. Great. I should be blessed that I've got this great hair. Terrible barber. Never going to go back to my barber again, but I am going to get a new hairdresser, barber, whatever the heck the person is that is can shear me correctly. I'm going to go with fabulous hair. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to train my hair. So, and then I'll have a place for my glasses, and if I ever need them, I've got them right there, which, by the way, is not a bad look, but I do need the glasses every once in a while. So thank you very much for talking about my nice shirt. I hope you've got one just like it. Mark Calcadere, sounds like they're going to have a better chance now. They are going to probably have a better chance now to impeach him and to get a conviction, but then he'll be batting 500, which 500 batting average isn't bad. The Senate will open the hear to the facts as presented by the Democrats, and then the Democrats will push for an immediate vote for conviction. Just my thoughts. They will probably do that. That's probably 100%. That's what their job is going to be. But they're going to have to decide on what the rules are prior to going in, and then it gets all politically stuff. And who cares? Donald, listen to me. No matter what happens, Donald Trump is leaving in 7 days. He's gone. It doesn't matter. I don't get invested in Donald Trump to the point where you care more about whether Donald Trump gets impeached rather than you can care that we carry on, because in 7 days we're going to have a change of administration. Donald Trump is not going to, I don't think that there's any way. There might be a way, something might happen, but I don't think that Donald Trump at this point anything unique or special is going to happen. I think that Joe Biden is going to be the president because he's been certified by Congress. The vote has been counted. It's been taken. We had some assholes try to take the Capitol. They've now impeached him. And then in 7 days, Joe Biden's going to be sworn in. Just saying. I mean, that's going to happen. So does it matter what happens to Donald Trump between now and 7 days from now? Or Donald Trump between now and 14 days or 2 months from now? It has no bearing on my life. It has no bearing on my life. The boat has left the dock. The sails are filling with wind. And the boat is starting to sail. That boat, it's got 320 million Americans on it. Donald Trump is not steering the boat. The people that are steering the boat, the crew, if you will, are made up on the 20th, starting on the 20th, of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, a slight majority of Democrats in the House, a tie of Republicans and Democrats in the Senate, and the people from all 50 states. And the way that you can look at it is that there are 50 staterooms on this boat, and those are the 50 states. And then there's some little bitty apartments in the back called all of the territories. So DC, Guam, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, right? But they're with us, and we're all sailing away. And we got to decide where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. And we're going to decide whether we're going to fight as the crew on that boat to decide where we're going to go. And we realize now that we cannot afford to burn the boat down because we're on a boat. And we got nowhere else to go. See, none of us are going to Canada. If you can go to Canada and want to go to Canada, have a nice trip. If you want to go to Mexico, you want to go to Europe, you want to go somewhere else, awesome. But I'm in this boat. That means that I have got to stop worrying about the guy that's not going to be at the helm in 7 days. He's been arrested by the boat police. They have put him over here, and the people that do that thing on the boat that are making the decisions about that person is not me. I sent a representative from my cabin up there to deal with that shit. Georgia sent representatives to that place to deal with that stuff. So every cabin has already sent representatives into the ballroom to deal with Donald Trump. But no matter what happens in 7 days, Donald Trump is not going to be steering the boat anymore. That's the best analogy that I can come up with. They have said, hey, look here, on the way out the door, you've done some really bad stuff, so we're going to have to address that because you're going to still be on the boat. And what's going to happen is I don't know, and I don't really care because it's not that important to my life because I can still go down to the Dollar General, or I can go down to the Family Dollar, or I can go to Walmart, or I can go to Burger King, or we can go to Cafe USA, which, by the way, I went and got a totally kick-ass chicken fried steak and potatoes with some white gravy on earlier with a couple of beers. Oh, and they were delicious. Bud Lights to be exactly, so big props to Bud Light. But that's what the fact is. My neighborhood's not burning down. I can go out there, my neighborhood's not burning down. Everybody's like, defend Donald Trump to the end. Don't to Trump, Donald. Who cares? Who cares? The people's voice has been heard on one side. The people's voices have been heard on the other side. They interpret it totally differently. They're going to do what they're going to do, but in 7 days, it doesn't matter. Lance Jones, hey, Mickey, hey, Lance, how you doing? There was a chocolate pretzel shortage. I'm telling you, man, they are back. We found 4 of them. We had to go to 3 different stores, but we did finally find them at Brookshire's down on the corner in the specialty rack, and they were delicious. Conservatives need to take a deep breath and step back, and the left doesn't have Trump. If the left doesn't have Trump. Here's the deal is, I don't know what's going to happen to the Republican Party. They've got to get their stuff together. I've got suggestions for them. I've got suggestions for the Democrats. I got suggestions for everybody. But the primary point is the people in the middle need to not be right. We need to not be left. We need to have the side of the middle. That's what this show is about. Can we truly ever be a united country in the next year with the crap going on today? Yes, have faith. I'm working on a plan. I'm going to execute said plan, and we will be on the right track. It will take 2 years. In 2 years, mark my words, mark this video, save it, share it, like it, get the little notification bell rung. I'm telling you right now, in 2 years, we are changing the course of America, and it starts right here. Like every American, Trump has the right to defend himself. So that's all I'm saying. Oh, Mark, yeah, definitely. Dude, you got to defend yourself. Get the most people that you can to advocate. I personally did not hear anything in the speech that was insightful. There's going to be some fringe elements in every single crowd that are going to go crazy. Hey, listen to me. I can get 100 of my friends together, and we can go to Mardi Gras, and you know that if I have 100 of my friends with me, 5 of them are going to jail. Every time. Sometimes I'll be in the jail with them. That's what happens when you get 200,000 people in the Capitol. You're going to have some of your friends throw it down like at Mardi Gras. And they're going to go, that's bullshit. We need to go tell them what we think. Listen to me. It wasn't an insurrection. I can prove that it wasn't an insurrection. This is the easiest thing to prove. This is the easiest thing to prove. Here's what happened. I'm going to start at the beginning. Here's what happened. Oh, shit. I'm running out of time. I'm going to only try to run 5 minutes over. There were 300 lawsuits brought by Democrats and Republicans prior to the 2020 election. Of those, judges and attorney generals changed the rules in states, which is not allowed. So in 4 states, in particular, in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, The Republicans went, you can't do that. And a judge said, well, you should have said something before the election. That was the only ruling that I have heard from any judge. A judge said, hey, you should have said something before the election rather than bitching about it after the election. That was the only decision by a judge other than the Supreme Court saying, nah, I'm not going to hear it, no standing. Everybody else, all of the other lawsuits that are still pending or still going on have all said, hey man, we're either not dealing with it or you don't have standing or you should have done something sooner. So that's what happened. So when they counted the electoral votes, that happened. I can't help the fact that some states did not comply with the Constitution, allowing the legislative bodies of that, the legislatures of the states to deal with that. So if Georgia didn't, if Pennsylvania didn't, if Wisconsin didn't, and Michigan didn't, that's Georgia, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan's problem. That's their problem. I'm from Arkansas. I think we did our election right. But when a state certifies something and says, hey, we're cool with the way that it went down, and then the Georgia, whether it's the legislature counts it and sends up the electoral votes, or whether the governor does it or whoever does it, when they show up in Congress and they count them, that's it. They counted them. I cannot like it as much as I want. I do not have to like the fact that 300 lawsuits were filed. I don't have to like the fact that an attorney general or a secretary of state changed the law. I don't have to like it. They dropped some ballot boxes, that they mailed out ballots, that they didn't verify signatures. I don't have to like it. If the people of Georgia don't like it that much, then the people of Georgia got to do something about that shit. I'm just saying. I'm in Arkansas. And we're sitting there and going, hey, that's messed up. They stole the election. Well, you only get to send your representatives up. You only get to send your electoral votes up. That's just the way that it is. So we might not like it. I don't like the way the whole thing went down. I think it smells to high heaven. Was it stolen? I think that they changed the rules. They took advantage of their own rules, and then they probably stuffed the ballot boxes, and everybody knows that's the way that it went down. The question is, who should do what about that? So here's why it wasn't an insurrection. It was people having their voice heard in a very, very loud manner. First of all, there was no automatic weapon use. If you're going to have an insurrection and you're going to have an overthrow, I'm going to tell you right now, they did a very, very poor job because they didn't have any automatic weapons. Let's see. No bombs went off. Just didn't happen. They found one by the Republican headquarters, the Democratic headquarters, and I think they found one other. But no bombs went off. There was no fire. Who does an insurrection and who does a takeover without the use of fire and chemical propellants? There were no large weapons used. They didn't bring in reinforcements. Nobody had snipers. They didn't show up with that. There was no massive destruction of property. They broke some windows. They threw some things on the ground, broke some benches. But if you're going to take stuff over, if you plan on taking over and not leaving, you get in, you do what you're going to do, and then you fortify your outside perimeter so that nobody can come in after you. The most that they took was like an envelope, a couple of computers, and some selfies. What kind of insurrection is that? And if you inspired that kind of insurrection, either the people are stupid or the insurrectionist is stupid. And if you want to overthrow something, that is not the way to do it. but they were loudly voicing their opinion, and they scared a lot of people. They breached fences into the Capitol. They breached the walls, doors, and windows of the Capitol. When that one girl was trying to go into the speaker's auditorium or the speaker's and she got shot, what would have happened if that would have happened at the first line outside and they would have started shooting people at the fence? Could you imagine just the outright pandemonium that would have happened and what they would have said about the cops? Cops kill protesters. Cop kill peaceful protesters. Cop kills anarchist. Well, the anarchist was at a rally for the president and he wasn't doing anything except shaking a fence. That's exactly what they did. And there was no fire. There was no automatic weapon fire. They had used mace and had used chemicals on the cops. They breached the fence, the cop, and shot him. Oh my gosh, what a mess. There's no way this wouldn't have ended with a mess. And then they were like, oh, look what happened. Ha, got you. Yeah, we got you, dude. We're going to impeach you now. That's right. We're going to call you an insurrectionist. We're going to call you a racist. And that's what they did. So I'm going to take an extra 5 minutes. So everybody took lots of selfies. So Jim Jordan has got my new best catchphrase. I condemn all violence all the time. I condemn all violence all of the time. Mark says, I'm more concerned about where the boat will sail under the full power of the Democratic Party. Well, I don't know. Duly elected powers. Let's see. This is going to be a fun ride. Looks like we should get involved with an understanding the Democratic Party. Maybe we should all become Democrats. Maybe we should all become Democrats, get into their party so that we can make sure that they're not all freaking crazy. I want you to think about that. What happens if you would have showed up at the Democrat Party platform in Arkansas and said, hey, I want to go up there and I want to talk on a national level. Hey, yeah, I know you want to do this, this, and this, but that's a little bit crazy. How about if we do this and this and this and just have it not so bad? What happens if all the Republicans became Democrats? I'm just saying, is that crazy or whatever? And then Darla says, hey, good analogy. Oh, the boat analogy. Yeah, I thought that was pretty. Almost went to jail last time I was at Mardi Gras. Way to go, Mark Calcaterra. Almost going to jail is exactly how much fun you're supposed to have at Mardi Gras. Just look at all the violence, BLM and Antifa. Okay, so all of the violence that they did during the peaceful protest this last summer, that was insurrection. Okay, it depends on who's defining insurrection, right? Speaking to power is not an insurrection. A riot is a riot, and there were over 100 riots declared last year in many of the major states, in many of the major cities. So, speaking and protesting and rioting is having your voice heard. What Antifa did when they took over and they established the Chaz, their CHOP, that right there, yeah, I wouldn't have put up with it. That's insurrection. That right there is just blatant. We are overthrowing the government and we are claiming land against the United States of America. No, you're not. We can't have that. But guess what they did up there in Portland and up there in Seattle? They let them do it. Not my country, or not my state. Not my state. But you're right. So up to that point, they were having their voices heard. But, and here's what I cannot emphasize enough. You're responsible for your own actions, not based on the actions of what your neighbor did and got away with. So, if your neighbor down the street starts robbing houses and gets away with it, and then you go and rob houses and don't get away with it, you can't go, well, my neighbor did it, because what your neighbor does, you're not responsible for. What you do, your neighbor's not responsible for. So, in my eyes, although it could be considered an equivalent, your conduct has nothing to do with your neighbor. And to prove that further, if you drew a wall and you never knew your neighbor and you never knew that your neighbor did that, then you cannot draw that false equivalent, or you cannot draw the equivalency. And you can ever say, well, somebody did it. Because Cain killed Abel, or Abel killed Abe. Abel killed Cain, Cain killed Abel. One of the two of them killed each other. And all I'm saying is, what if the other one had done it? Well, they are stand alone for their own actions. Darla, you have to have it. There was more insurrection over the summer by Antifa, BLM. Where was the outrage? Well, you were outraged. I was outraged. A lot of people were outraged. Because somebody's not outraged at somebody else's actions, once again, I go back to the fact that if I'm outraged, it doesn't mean that you have to be outraged as well. You can have different motivations for looking at something that is not, or you believe that you can justify it in your mind of why that happens. It's like, do you arrest somebody that's hungry for stealing if they're really, really hungry, although it's against the law? And I just use that as a really, really loose example of, do you let somebody starve because they can't get food, or do you let them steal, or do you give them food? So there's three possibilities of way to go here, but how mad can you be at them if they steal food because they're hungry? That's the social dilemma of all of this. The social dilemma is, are you hearing what people are saying? Are you empathizing with them? And are you conducting society that takes care of everyone's needs? Because people have to be responsible. So we have a two-way street. People have to be responsible for their own needs, but they also have to be we have to also take a look at what's happening in the people around us, and we have to say, what policies can we put in place that do the most good for people? We don't set standards by the lowest denominator. There you go. I like that. But the Democratic leaders encourage the rioting. You did. They're right. And I condemn that as well. I condemn that as right. As Jim Jordan said, I condemn all violence all the time. Peaceful protest all day. I condemn all violence all the time. So I don't have time to get into the rest of this. So this is going to be a two-parter. I just want to let you know, I did not send the letters about social media to the lieutenant governor, to the state attorney general, and to my two friends that are in the Senate and in the House of Representatives in Arkansas, because drafting that letter was harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm just saying. I started drafting it, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm going to work on that letter tonight, and I'm going to send it out. I didn't get any sleep last night. I kept worrying about our country. I was really worried about our country last night. And it pains me in my soul that I walk out my front door and there's peace and there's civility. And I see that all of the people in the United States are being great. And we can love each other. We can respect each other. We can let people go to church where they want to go to church, or not go to church at all. We can let them go eat at Burger King, McDonald's, or Wendy's, or at the Four Seasons. That everybody can go find a job, and everybody can be successful, everybody can raise kids, and everybody can get those kids educated so they can fit in society and that they can have good, normal lives. Because that's what's happening out there if you turn off the politics. That's what's happening out there if you turn off social media. That's what's happening out there if you turn off the news. Go to good news sites. They'll tell you about all the kids that, just did a double off of the high dive. They're going to tell you about the kids that just did their first ollie on a skateboard. They're going to tell you about their successes when they graduated college. They're going to tell you about how their dog just passed away. Because that's America. And that's the reason I love this country. So, I love you, everybody. I hope you guys have a great night. Remember, Mickey in the Middle, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Central, right here, wherever I am. You guys take it easy, be good, stay cool, and remember to live, laugh, love, peace, everybody. Let's see if I can hit the right button. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Good night, everyone.